we just got set up about 15 or 20 minutes ago. Pretty decent spot. The other day I sat about 60 yards over, and they came right through here, so it's been raining a little bit. We got rained out this morning. We had plans. Did not work out, so we ended up sitting in the truck waiting on the rain to stop, and it never did. So, had a lot of running between. Had to get a water heater and, do life stuff. And got all that set up just in time to hustle here and do a hang and hunt. So, time change and all. We're trying to reshuffle our brains to reconfigure what we know about, roughly what we know about deer anyways. But they've been coming right through this little valley, dropping into this bottom, and then taking a hard right. They're going right past my other two stands, but the problem is all that area around it is really grown up, so we don't have any shots. But this looks pretty good, so if we don't get busted, it should be on tonight. Coming this way. Don't move. She acts like she's winding us, but we got a good wind now. She just got her nose in the tree. When I tell you to, stand up. Stand up. Alright. Don't move. Don't move. She turned around, but I don't know what she's doing. Coming around behind us, I think. Turn around. She's trying to wind us, I think. Oh, here she comes. Coming right to us. Just don't move. She don't know what she wants to do. She's about 45 yards working this way. She's just standing there right now. hard to describe, but just literally right there. Like maybe 45 yards of feet and working this way. This way. Yep. Looks like she's just feeding back and forth right now. I mean, if she looked this way and was trying, she could see us. We just gotta hope the wind stays consistent before she works this way. Yeah, she's going back to the right again. She's just zigzagging back and forth, eating nuts over there, I'm guessing. We got a good wind, it's right now. It probably is. Okay. It's probably that group from the other day then. I was gonna say, I think she's all alone, but yeah, not looking like that now. Yeah, they're both in the same spot feeding. Yeah. Which is good, but once they turn, I want to know. They'll most likely come past here unless they circle behind us. I just felt that wind shift, that ain't good. Yeah. Somebody's calling me. I just can't stand when people call me this time of day. I told him I was going hunting. I don't either. I was just coming right to us. Dang it. Yeah. Don't move, we're just looking. Yep. Yeah, they're slowly. I think they're just really loving them. I'm guessing acorns right there, but if they could break off of that spot, they should come past here. Be pretty sweet if we can manage. Just go far right. Well, we're running out of light. Those does, they worked off to the right. Last time we seen them, they was like 45 yards. And we just never seen them again, so it is what it is. Don't know what happened with the rest of the deer. That's the only two we seen, but we're gonna back down and leave the top stand so we can come back here and hunt again. But we're gonna try to get out of here without spooking anything. There's a ton of squirrels, so you can't hear nothing coming. But we're done for the night. No one likes you. You smell funny and love your pants. I'm eating all your candy when I get out. Just because. Put a shovel in my socks. Those are my socks, Keegan. We'll turn them into backpacks. 28 socks into backpacks. Well, whatever, Keegan. You know what I mean. Seems like a lot. Well, we're back in the stand. It's been a minute since me and Jack set this stand. Have several little bucks still coming in here. A couple couple does, but it's still pretty sporadic. There's really never been anything that made any sense. It's starting to get rut too, so things are going to get more sporadic, but we're getting in there now. I believe it's November 3rd. It's been a decent season, but not great. Still don't have very many good bucks on camera. Only one that I'd for sure shoot. But we've been focusing on the kids since we don't have any real targets for me. Got a couple for Tiffany, but balancing our schedules with, 5 kids in school and all that mess. It ain't easy getting out, but been trying to shuffle everybody so everybody's getting a fair try. We shot a doe out of this on October 3rd. She ended up living. And then on, a week and a half ago, we had a buck coming right to us. And the neighbor pulled in and ran him off. And then he went nocturnal after that. And then pre-rut kind of kicked in and different bucks started showing up different times. But who knows what'll happen this morning. We just really hope one comes in, doe or a buck. So we're gonna sit tight. It's been daylight for 5 or 10 minutes, real gradually getting there this morning. But yeah, we're gonna sit here for a few hours and hopefully we'll get one killed. So stay tuned. It's 9 o'clock. We've not seen a single deer all morning. Not in the field in front of us, not in the woods. Haven't heard anything. One of the neighbors left a little bit ago, and he just came back. So we're probably going to give it about 30 minutes. And if we don't see one by then, we're going to pack it up. It's just another wasted morning, which is hunting. I get it. But we live in a stupid, lawed state. Just a very ignorantly lawed state. So I've got a little breakdown for you. Essentially, we're a state where you're not allowed to bait over, or you're not allowed to hunt over bait. But you can bait 100% of the year. You just can't hunt that area, like to and from, trails or whatever they used to say. Now they try to say you can't hunt that property or some shit like that. Corruption. So every property that has a crop is golden. Every property that's got a lot of acorns is going to be golden. You got some properties, and I know this, most people know this, where you need to sit still. You're moving too much. But you have a bunch of these properties where essentially there's no food. They're either a too small property full of maples or saplings or something. But when you have select options, you're screwed. It doesn't matter how many doors you knock on if you can't pick up more properties or bigger properties, or a property that's got crops, or a property that's got a lot of acorns. You're out of the game, and they already make it completely complicated just to fill your tags. It's not like you can just buy a buck and a doe tag and it go. You can buy your bundle and it can go, but it's $100 for 3 deer tags. That's a lot of money for a wild animal. Conservation. We're not even going to get into the fake conservation conversation where people talk about what it goes to. No, it doesn't. You're delusional and you don't spend much time actually looking. I've seen what the DNR does. I've seen what conservation does. This has been my life for like 20 years. And I'm not one of those cucky people who cuck on law enforcement and all that. I'm one of those people that question things that don't seem right. And making it illegal to hunt over bait is only to not fill tags, because you can hunt anywhere in this state. You can bait anywhere in this state, but you can't hunt over that bait. However, I can go up the hill, and if I had permission on the neighbor, I could hunt his cornfield. That doesn't make any sense. They try to say it's to prevent disease and blah, blah, blah. Like Ted said, have you ever heard of a scrape? Have you ever heard of a community scrape? Let me break it down for the people that don't know. A community scrape gets nearly every single deer in the area that even crosses from another area. These are natural. They exist. Deer make them. I've run trail cameras on them long enough to know deer aren't the only things that use a deer scrape. It becomes a hub for other animals. Coyotes, fox, bobcats. I've seen just about anything and everything hit a scrape. So, to say that's the argument that they're worried about deer getting a disease, that's dumb. Those are not biologists, if that's what they're saying. Those are paid idiots. However, if you would allow people to bait, especially in situations where, which in any situation, but in situations like ours where the majority of the properties we hunt have no food, and the ones we do are minimal, especially this year when the acorn crop is very weak, you would allow kids to be able to get their shots in and not spend hunt after hunt after hunt not seeing deer, essentially hurting their outlook on the sport or hunting in general, whether you want to call it a sport or not. But that can be avoided. Opportunities can be given. Food can be brought in. That is the point of hunting. It is to bring the food home. It's not about giving the animal a fighting chance. It's about, I paid the government their weird fee for a wild animal. With all the BS they pretend is conservation, we go along with it. We'll go along with it. But then why am I limited to any possibilities of getting my deer? Other than going onto properties you can't get permission that do have food. Or just going onto properties you don't have permission that does have a lot more deer. There's a problem when other places have food and you don't. It pulls all the deer. You don't get those deer. I'm not trying to complain. I'm trying to enlighten the rest of us because we have an issue, and it is government overreach. There's zero logical, actual, factual reasoning to not be able to hunt over bait and just say, you're an adult. You've had bad luck. Well, you don't have to shoot the first buck you see if you're hunting over bait. You can at least be patient, and that'll draw does in. That's going to draw bucks in. For probably 10 years, I ran trail cameras over corn. Didn't get to hunt those areas, but what I learned over that time frame, bucks, majority, mature bucks. But what I learned is the majority of big bucks will not come hit corn in the daylight. But while we're talking about corruption, this year they then changed. My eyes watering. They then changed spotlighting rules. So my entire life, you are not. Okay, let's be real specific. My entire life, you're not allowed to have a spotlight in the vehicle if there's a weapon to basically prevent something that hasn't happened, which is punishing us for a crime we've not done. But it's to make you not go poach deer. So you could go spotlighting all year round if you just just, wanted to go see bucks. I even done it last year, the year before. Hadn't seen any deer. Went driving, seen a few. Didn't help me any. It wasn't anywhere I could hunt, but they made it that way. And their words are, you can't scout for a deer with a spotlight, so you can't go spotlighting that night to see if your buck's in the area. Which is retarded, so you can't go just look at deer with a light, but headlights still exist. So, my frustrations build up with the United States government, the branches of the government, the Indiana DNR, conservation of any kind, is so corrupted that it's about preventing us from filling those tags, making it gambling. I'm not allowed to gamble in Indiana, that's illegal. But on their terms, you can gamble. Pay us money for animals we didn't grow. And then I'm gonna limit your ability to go and harvest those animals or kill. As we know, that's what we're doing. I am hunting for food. I don't care about your gambling bullshit. I'm not trying to give the deer an opportunity to get away from me. I'm trying to get that deer dead in the freezer in our bellies. This ignorance with sports and making it a sport. Hunting is hunting. Fishing is fishing. You can throw them back if you want, but I ain't throwing back a deer. I'm trying to put it in the freezer. Fill my family's bellies with real food that you don't have to buy from the market. GMO raised, steroid injected crap. So, yes, I'm ranting. Absolutely. But it's a great argument for why baiting is, or at least baiting laws are completely wrong. They're completely corrupt. They are completely un-American. So, we are supposed to be free. We should have the freedom to be able to bait deer on our own properties so that we can have equal opportunities as properties that have big crops. I highly doubt we end up seeing any deer, but food for thought. You can complain and say I'm complaining, or you can actually use a little bit of logic and think about it. I'm not trying to put myself on deer over corn. I'm trying to put my kids on deer. That is the goal. If they can change that law, we could have deer right here every day. And the kids would all get to have fun and not have to spend so many days freezing, trying to have a good opportunity. I didn't get to hunt when I was a little kid. You had to wait till you could shoot a bow. And then you had to be good enough to go kill one and have the poundage up. Well, ever since they made crossbows legal, that gives kids an opportunity. If you have opportunities. But if you don't have the possibility, it's just not there. So, you can look at it however you want. I'll look at it how I want. There's a lot of common sense in everything I just said. You're not killing deer. You're not getting some advantage over anything. They're still wild animals. They're still going to come in when they want. It's just ignorant, but we'll do what we got to do in this world to get by. What I can tell you is they're complaining about food. The government's throwing a hissy fit. Democrats as usual. Republicans are much better, but the whole thing is a shit show. It's just a giant game. It's not real. They're holding 40 some odd million Americans food from them, or their money to get food. Whether they're taxpayers or not, who knows? From what I understand, a lot of them have to work or they can't get those benefits, or they have to volunteer a day or they can't get those benefits. So there is work involved for those who don't know. It's not just all hand-me-outs, but there are people who just get hand-me-outs. So I would much rather feed my family wild game. I would forage, grow, that sort of life. They've made that really hard to do. So, again, food for thought. Just trying to make things better over years, I've lost a lot of properties, and I'm just down to little properties I can hunt. Just too many people have died, too many people have sold out, and a lot of people went to leasing, so yeah, for the small town hunter, man, you know, the small town hunting family, we're really losing ground here, and it's just down to several small properties and then public land, which, as we all know, is very unsafe. The people on it are just sloppy. They're just not very responsible, and they shoot things they see move rather than actually shoot a deer. So just last year, a guy and his daughter were killed on public land, and that just irritates me to my core. The person who killed both of them should be hung. Simple. That's not a mistake. You murdered two people. So we have to band together to get rid of non-common sense laws. They are corrupt. They're against us as people. The damage that has been done in the deer population has more to do with vehicles than anything. But EHD, which I'm pretty positive is a man-made thing, because it's gotten worse year after year after year in the last 5 years. Do your own math. We didn't have EHD here. Not like that. And out west, you know, where they have a lot more crops, a lot more EHD. So do your own math. Use your own brain. Stop thinking it's what they're telling you, because they've always told us something that came out to be wrong. But that's my rant. We're gonna give her, we probably have 15 minutes left. And yeah, if nothing happens, it is what it is. But again, this is the kind of stuff that can be avoided. Getting up early, sitting for hours, getting exhausted. I'm shuffling 5 kids with me and Tiffany, trying to figure out who can go where, when they can go there, trying to get each person on a deer. And we've had nothing but bad luck. We put a lot of money into a food plot because that's the only ability we have of getting food in an area we can hunt. And that's still not enough. That's only one spot. Our other food plots didn't take. The one below me didn't take. The one above me didn't take. So it is what it is. But there are ways we can do better. So leave it in the comments if you guys think either way. Let's hear what you have to think about baiting or, you know, food plots or properties that don't have food. What do y'all think? I think we're gonna call her.